Page 20, God rest ye merry gentlemen. Well, I go through my routine for learning a piece of music. This looks kind of interesting. It's got notes going all over everywhere. I look it over, I see it's 2 pages long, but there's repeat signs and endings, so it's really longer than that. However, we only got 2 pages of music to deal with. That's what I'm after. Treble and bass clef, 1 flat in the key signature, so it's either in F major or D minor. But if we look at the bottom of page 21, the last couple measures, last measure, you're here. Can't tell much from that. Let's bring these down. We'll play the same notes a little closer. It's a D minor chord. I'm guessing this is in D minor. So I'm going to do the scales for F major and D minor both. Make sure I can do those okay. Which comes in really handy because this mess at the beginning and toward the end, that's really just a D minor scale. Harmonic minor, just like I teach in my video, same thing. So if you've been doing that scale, and 2 octaves really, this is easy. Anyway, back to this, a cut time or 2/2 time. But again, when I start learning a piece that's in cut time, to learn it, I'll pretend it's in 4/4 time. And then when I go back to add the speed after I've learned it, then I'll put it in cut time. So in this lesson, I'm going to talk about this as though it's in 4/4 time. And then I'll change it to cut time a little later. So I'm going to do it like a quarter note gets a count. I'm going to do it 1 hand at a time, make sure I understand what each hand is doing. At the beginning, the right hand is clear up on this D, and again, this is D minor scale, harmonic minor. 1 and 2 and 3. It's just a D minor scale. Keep going. And then the left hand comes in and ends it. And then the right hand comes up here. Measure 5. Just quarter notes. Come across for 1 note. And then measure 8. You can do that or that. Depends on whether your hand's up here or out here. I'll leave that up to you. I like to keep my hand out here, so I'll probably do that. And then thumb. So if you do that, you're going to use the thumb again anyway. That's really not a problem, but I'll do that. I'm going to do 2/5. Now, at the end of the page, I'll measure 12. Again, same thing. And then they want 2. You can do this because it's a repeated note, and we change hand positions on it, so that's okay. Crossover, that's fine. I'll measure 20 here, and then cross under. Put us in position. If you can do the scales, this kind of thing is easy to do. If you can't do the scales, you'll struggle with this too. Then I measure 26, you got your scale coming back. And measure 30, you're here, and then come up here. And then here, and then the last measure is a D and an A, but it has an 8/8 over it, you come up here. If you have a short keyboard, you don't have those notes, you just play the highest D and A that you have. That's okay. Left hand, well, it starts on measure 4 with this A, it's an octave here. And then measure 5, you're up here. Just coming, that's all right. You can do that, just come here. Try and get the notes down at the same time if you can, and then going on. Yeah. Okay. Let's go over to measure 13. It's not a problem, you're in this position. And they want 3rd finger here. Measure 17, crossover for 1 note. And you're back to that again. Then the last line at the bottom, you're down here. Same thing you've been doing, except we're not playing the middle note. And then the last measure, that D has an 8/8 under it, so you go down an octave. If you have the note. Otherwise, just play the lowest D you have. And something about piano arranging, I'd like to point out here. When you have chords and you have a lot of notes, that's okay when you're in the middle or upper range. You can do all these chords and it sounds fine. But when you get down toward the bottom, it just gets muddy. Ugh. So it's like here, they keep having 3 notes in this chord, but then at the end, around measure 30 or 29, when you're down here, They could have put the middle note in, but it's too muddy. So they simply leave it out. It sounds so much nicer. So if you're into arranging, keep that in mind. When you're down in here, the notes need to be further apart. It doesn't help much if they're close together. They got to be further apart. Something to notice. It doesn't affect how we play it, I'm just pointing it out. Some people are into arranging things, and it's something to look for. Now, once I have all that mess, let's see if I can put the hands together. Starting at measure 5, I'm here, and here. Make sure I lift up on the left hand. Okay? So you put the hands together, and again, I connect everything at first. Then once I have it together, I go back through it and I get rid of the hesitation so it is a steady beat throughout the whole thing. Doesn't matter how slow it is right now, but a steady beat, no hesitations. Then I think about the articulation. Here, at the beginning, you have an accent, play a little louder, and then connect it. And then here. I would suggest you slur all of this together. Slur all of this. This is introduction. So I would slur all of it together, right up to the dotted half note. So I connect accent, accent, accent. So I've connected all that together. And then the fermata, well, the fermata's on the quarter note in the right hand. That's a rest. So I'm just going to hang on to this as long as it feels right. And then I'm going to go on. Here. And I'm going to connect this as best I can. And staccato. I'm hinging at the wrist. Boom, boom. Okay. And connect that. Measure 16. Lift up both hands. Now the melody gets the left hand. So, measure 19. Lift up. Here. Melody's back in the right hand. Connect that. That's basically the articulation. So I go through it, work on the articulation, get a handle on that, sort of what it's like. And then I think about the dynamics. F at the beginning is forte, whatever you think loud is. The accented note's going to be a very loud note just for that one note. Let the wrist collapse when you do that. Don't bang on the piano. Just let the wrist collapse a little bit. Here, just a lot of weight is all it is. Very heavy in the right hand here because it's loud. I play by weight. And the more weight, the louder it gets. The less weight, the lighter it gets. You know? That SFZ in measure 4, that's a sforzando. That's a major accent. And again, don't hit it. You're on it and you just really heavy and relax. And then let that ring out a little bit. And then when you're ready, you're moderately loud. Left hand soft. Crescendo up, to loud. Here. And then back to moderately loud. Crescendo. And that's the melody that's doing this. Left hand staying in the background. Moderately loud. Now the left hand gets the melody. So it's got. Now I think on measure 18, the melody goes back to the right hand at that point. They're kind of handing out. I mean, both hands are playing it. But I think that's melody, and I'm going to let the left hand go in the background. So measure 17 and then softer. And let the right hand take it. Measure 22, you get that, or 23, you get hairpin to get softer. Each of these a little softer. Because this dies away on its own. So just stay under it. And then when you repeat, they don't tell you here, but you're back to moderately loud again. Because there's nothing, because when I was soft, I would stay soft. But I think they want you back up to moderately loud, and they didn't tell you. Well, put it in an MF at the end of the first ending there, endings 1 and 2. Put an MF on that last note, so you're moderately loud. Then on ending 3, you're down to soft, and then measure 26, you're back up to loud like you were at the beginning. Very loud, loud. Loud here. Here. Now moderately loud, left hand's in the background. You go up to loud. Accented makes it very loud. Very loud at the end. Okay. As far as the speed goes, well, this is where I have to put it back in 2. I want to feel it in 2. 1, 2. Well, it doesn't have to be a fast. It says moderate. You have to play it accurately. How fast can you do the scale? One, two. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. One, two, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. It's up to you. It's got to be accurate, so don't go beyond that. But just don't drag it. That's not Merry Gentlemen right there. Just you gotta move it, but it's got to be accurate. So you're gonna have to decide on your speed on that. If you can't do it in cut time accurately, then do it in 4/4 time. Because over the years, as you get better with piano, you can always come back and play these again and again, and you'll gradually get them a little faster and a little better each time. Now they've added pedal, and that's okay. It'd be nice to have some overtones and things. A lot of times the pedal, you can consider it a special effects pedal, because it adds special effects. It's like at the beginning. They want to pedal all this, or most of this scale. That runs it all together. It makes it sound like bells, huh? Clear it out at the end. Here, lift it up and clear it out. I do that a lot on runs, where I'll pedal the first part of the run and then lift the pedal to clear it out as the run is finishing. It's more of a special effects thing. You don't have to pedal it. You could just pedal it just fine, or play it just fine right there without pedal. But on measure 4, it's nice. It's nice to have the overtones for the longer held note. Okay, but then lift the pedal with the hand so we get a little silence before we go on. And I need to pedal. I have repeated notes. I want to connect them. So I'm going to pedal that. So I'm here, I'm going to lift up and then pedal. And here it's connecting it. I'm connecting this. That's all I'm doing. Again, the longer held notes, we pedal them for the overtones. Here. Lift up though. I want to hear the phrasing. Again, lift up. And I don't need to pedal this part. It's not repeated. Now measure 21. I'm pedaling this part to connect the left hand. I want to connect the chords. That's too much for me. I don't care for that at all. I want to connect the chords. I just don't want all that. No, I don't want that. So I'm going to use another style of pedaling. which is going to allow me to connect the chords. And that's all I'm doing is connecting the chords. I'll push it down right before I change it. And it pedals down only long enough to connect the chord. And that's it. And I do that. That way it's not so mushy. Now at the end, the start of measure 29, you're here. Again, I'm connecting the chords. Here I am mushing it up. Here, I want the overtones, we're getting bigger. I'll hold it down all the way to the end now, and at the end, after 4 counts, or 2 counts, depending on whether you're in cut time or 4/4 time, lift the pedal and the hands together at the same time. That's my impression of the pedal. You have to listen to the effect the pedal is having. If you don't like it, change it. Yeah. Don't copy me, please. You make it yours. You get into it. You don't have to go that fast. Take it at your speed. You don't have to pedal it the way I do. I keep experimenting with the pedal and keep changing things. It's what I do. Now, I only repeated it one time. You see the endings in the middle of page 21. You have a 1, 2, and then a 3. So we have 3 endings. But the first 2 endings are sharing the same music. It simply means that you would repeat it again so you could do all 3 verses. You don't have to repeat it at all. If you don't want to repeat it at all, then skip the first 2 endings and go straight to the 3rd ending and then go on. I only repeated it one time because that's all I felt like doing it. It's not for me. Yes, okay. But you get into it and you make it yours.